Hey, let's talk about Steel Strength, an artifact card. It is a green 4 mana cost spell, which means it's for one-off use, and it gives a unit -4 attack and a different unit +4 attack in the same round. So green cards tend to buff other cards, and there are many big creeps. But something like Steel Strength provides sustainability until these bigger cards become available. Over here in this picture, you see that Earthshaker and Crystal Maiden are standing in his towers, and I have 2 white cards representing heroes. In the left picture, my hero is in trouble. He only has 4 health, and the blocking hero has 4 attack. But after using Steel Strength in the right picture, you can see that my hero is fine and dandy, and the blocking hero is now in trouble because I'm not hitting for 10, and he only has 10 health. Now, the thing about targeting heroes, trying to eliminate heroes with this spell, is that they can equip items. So you always need to watch out whether your opponent has items that they might play, and you need to watch out how much gold they've spent in the previous shopping phase. So over here in the left picture, you can see that they've equipped an accessory giving the blocking hero 4 HP, and now he's not going to die. And in the second picture, you can see that my hero is yet again in trouble because they've equipped a weapon dealing 4 damage, and I only have 4 HP on my hero. So some people might think that this was a failed use of Steel Strength, but even though it wasn't the best outcome, you've still gotten your opponent to use these 2 items on this particular hero, which means that they're unable to use it on a different hero. And it's very unusual for a player, an artifact player, to have enough items for every single hero on the board just from one round. So it's not the best case scenario, but it's not too bad. So one thing I'd like to clarify about this card is that it will always give -4 and always give +4 to the card that you are nerfing and the card that you are buffing. So it's not, you will never give +1 or +2 or +3 to the card that you're buffing. So it doesn't matter, say for example in the left picture here, that the unit you are nerfing only has 3 attack. It's going to get -1 attack eventually, -4, so it's going to have -1 attack, and it's always going to give +4 attack to the card that you're buffing. As you can see, my hero had 6 and now it has 10. So 2 other things I want to mention that's important when you are playing Steel Strength is considering initiative, which is who gets to play first in the lane, and also the order in which you play your cards. So in the first picture here on the left, you don't see my hero, and you see that the enemy tower has 0 mana. It's because I did not have initiative, and my opponent happened to have a card that deals 4 damage, and they killed off my hero. Just like that. And now my tower is getting hit for 4. In the middle picture, you can see that my tower is getting hit for 0, because in this scenario, I did have an initiative, but I chose to play Steel Strength first, which means, as you can see, that the enemy hero has 0 attack now, and my hero that is now dead had +4 attack, but then it got killed off because after I played the spell, my opponent killed off my unit. So the correct play over here would have been, if I did have an item in my hand, was I kept initiative, and then I placed an accessory giving me 4 HP. So now I have 8 HP on my hero, and they can't just get rid of my hero right like that, just like that. It's going to survive until the combat phase, so it's going to do damage against the blocking hero. And after I use Steel Strength, I could possibly kill off the blocking hero if my opponent doesn't have items. So the basic functions of Steel Strength is to save your own unit, or to kill or damage an enemy unit or tower. And there are advanced plays that you can do, which are basically leaving your opponent's hero stranded in a lane and killing your own hero to redeploy it in a different lane to push, where you think it might be better to push. So in this picture over here, you can see, okay, I'm hitting the tower for 2 and it has 6 HP. So I can use Steel Strength and take, give 4 damage to this creep that's hitting the tower. And a lot of people will think straight away, I want to save my hero. I don't want to give my opponent, 5 gold for killing my hero. So I'm going to give their hero -4 attack, save my hero, and kill their tower at the same time. Now, this is an alright play. But if you compare that play, which is displayed in the left picture over here, saving your hero and killing the tower, and you compare it with not saving your hero, actually letting it die and killing the tower, it seems a bit strange. But if you let your hero die over here, you can redeploy it in a different lane that is maybe almost close to pushing a different tower. So instead of putting more resources in here, you can leave this lane and leave your enemy stranded here instead. But do watch out. You really need to consider how much mana your opponent has and what creeps they have in their deck, because if you do a play like this and you let your hero die, but you don't kill off the tower, you'll have to invest another hero into that lane again so that you're able to play creeps or spells to finish off the tower. So always watch out what creeps your opponents might have if you're trying to go for the tower. Okay, so over here in these pictures, you can see a way of stranding, making sure an enemy hero is stranded. So in the left picture, you can see that both heroes are in trouble and a creep is in trouble. So instead of killing off the enemy hero, you can take away, not take away, but you can give your hero -4 damage, so their hero survives and stays in the lane, and give your creep +4 damage and to kill off the creep. So what happens here is you reduce the push factor by killing off their creep, and then you leave their hero here in a lane where you have a very healthy tower of 40 HP, and you probably don't want to go for a tower that has 72 HP. Probably one of the other towers in the other lanes, are one of the tier 1 towers, and you've gotten it down to maybe 20 or something like that. So you want to kill off your hero first if you have no other way of moving it out of that lane. Right. So here is another example of killing your own hero. So in this case, on the left, you can see that your hero isn't in trouble at all, and your enemy hero is dying, and the tower health, it's the same scenario, 72 and 40, right? So in this case, it would be a good move to actually kill off your own hero and leave your enemy's hero here. I mean, it's not always 100% a good move, because you never know if that 5 extra gold might make sure that they're able to buy a very expensive game-winning item. But in many cases, this is a very good move to make. So before playing Steel Strength, there are many things that you need to consider. First, you need to consider possible items and spells that can be used to kill the unit that you are saving anyway, because if that unit that you're trying to save is going to die, you might as well try to save a different unit instead. You need to consider possible spells that can be used to remove the unit that you have buffed, because if you're buffing a unit and it dies before it reaches combat phase, again, you're not effectively using the spell. And then you also need to consider possible items, spells, or improvements that can be used to save the unit or tower that you're trying to kill. In some cases, the outcome isn't too bad if you don't get your goal, like killing off a unit or a tower. But sometimes it can be game losing, so you need to really watch out for these things. This card was, the art was made by Darek Zabrocki. He started drawing at the age of 3, and he's worked on numerous famous franchises, so you can check him out on his website and connect with him on his social media. I do welcome you. Please do come watch my other video where I have invited 6 other Artifact players to evaluate Steel Strength and compare it with other green cards. I am dpmlicious, Xingqi. You can connect with me on these sites at the handle dpmlicious. Special thanks to my cat and my dog, who both think they've helped, I guess. And here's a card, Steel Strength. Thanks for joining!